Hello, boys and girls. Thank you for watching. This is going to be about equivalent fractions. Remember the word equivalent. Let me write it over here. Equivalent means equal. So that's really important to remember as I am speaking and explaining each problem. Also be sure to listen for the magic word so you can get a prize when you come to school. Okay, the first one says, Maricela and Rose had 5 cookies to share equally. The cookies are represented below. What share of the cookies did each girl get? Let's read it again. Always read 2 times. Maricela and Rose had 5 cookies to share equally. The cookies are represented below. What share of the cookies did each girl get? Okay, what I would like to do is start by labeling and just see how many cookies could I give each girl. I'll go back and forth between each girl. So I'm going to label this with an M for Maricela, R for Rose. I have enough to give another one for Maricela, another one for Rose. I run into an issue when I have this last cookie. However, I'm sure most of you are able to recognize that if there's 1 cookie but 2 people, just split it in half. That way each girl can get half a cookie and it's still equal. So Maricela gets half and Rose gets half, and I'm going to label it half so I'm not confused. Remember, the 2 on the bottom is the denominator. It tells us how many total pieces. The 1 is the numerator, and it tells us how much of the piece someone ate or took. It's just part of the whole. So let's count it up. Looking at our options, it's either going to be talking about a whole or then it'll talk about a fraction. So let's see how much Maricela got. She was able to get 1, 2 whole cookies. And then she was able to get half of another cookie. Let's make sure that the same amount was for Rose. Rose got 1, 2. And she got half, so 2 wholes and a half for each girl. So looking at the first one, it says each girl got 1 whole cookie and 1/2 a cookie. That's close, but not correct. Each girl got only 2 whole cookies. No, because we would be leaving out the other. Each girl got 2 whole cookies and half a cookie. This is what we're looking for. Make sure when you get to fractions, if there is a picture, you are redrawing that on your paper. If it's on the computer, you draw it on your paper, and then count how many people are in the problem. So there's only 2 in this problem, and make sure that you're labeling each object for them. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Katie ate 3/4 of an apple. What fraction is equivalent to 3/4? Here they have a number line, but I'm going to pull out my fraction bar and show you through my bars. Okay, so we want to know what 3/4 is equivalent to. So what I've done is I've gotten out 3/4, and I'm lining it up starting at the 0. I know it's strange that there's 1/4, but remember when we put 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, we would get 3/4. Okay, it's actually like one of the easiest questions you could ever get. If you just look straight above it, it gives you the answer. What it is equivalent to is 6/8. Sorry, this is a mark on my hand, it's not blood. Okay, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. Like I said, you will not have fraction bars on a test or on your own. But it's one of the easiest questions you can get, because it will literally show you if you line them up, put a little circle around it. So the answer we're looking for is 6/8. Remember what we do. If it's not labeled, you would go through and you would count all the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the way we know where this dot is to count. So 4 would be the denominator, right? The total number of pieces. Going on top, we go 1, 2, 3 away. That's how I got 3/4 in the first place. Sometimes they're going to give you a blank number line. You have got to be responsible to label it yourself. The top part like maybe there's going to be 2 number lines. In this case, they combined it. This time you're counting smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where they got the 8. Stop when we get to the dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember what we talked about. People who choose 1/4 like a big bite. People who choose 8ths like smaller bites. They like to enjoy it a little bit slower, but put like less of a bite in their mouth, okay? So you might be the kind of kid who eats 1/4 of your Hershey bar all in one bite, or you could eat 1/8 and then take a second small bite and eat the other 1/8. You're still eating the same amount. That's how we know 3/4 is equal to 6/8, because these are just smaller bites. Oh, sorry, I'm recording. I'll come right back. Yeah. Smaller bites here, and these are larger bites here, but it's still the same amount. My magic word is donut party. Next page. Mario shaded 4/6 of a rectangle. How many thirds of the rectangle did Mario shade? First of all, when you hear thirds, don't let that trick you. A third is like this. You know that, right? It's just sometimes when you see these words, it gets confusing. Okay, you always have 2 options. When you see a number that they're asking you to make equivalent, well, they didn't even say it. They're not even going to give you that hint. If they're asking you to make another fraction out of a fraction they've already given you, that means they want you to make an equivalent one. So you can either make them lots of tiny pieces or a big giant piece, like multiple giant pieces. Let me explain that by showing you with a picture. I know that there are 6 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 4 shaded. In order to make thirds, I can either make this a smaller piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, shading in 4 of them, and leave those blank, and I can make them smaller bites, okay? Remember what we said, some kids like to eat really small bites of their Hershey bar. Or I can make them bigger bites. This is where you have to use kind of like your mind powers. How could you get big bites, but it's still the same amount shaded? What's usually going to happen is that you're going to have to put 2 or 3 small bites inside to make a new big bite. Still going to be the same amount, just put more in your mouth at one time. So look at how now I've made 3 large bites. I'm going to shade in 2 of them. Kind of like taking that middle bite out. You tell me, which one is thirds? Clearly, this tiny little pieces, it is equal or equivalent to the original 4/6. And so is this one with bigger bites. But we're specifically looking for something that has only 3 pieces in it. So, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This one is in 12ths, and I've shaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 12. This one only has 1, 2, 3, and I've shaded 2 of them. Which one are we looking for? Thirds. The one that has 3 total pieces. So record your answer in the box. So you would shade in 2 thirds. They won't give you this kind on the test, but that's your answer. Something to be aware of is sometimes this is a lot to actually draw for yourself. I taught you guys a little trick a few weeks ago. It was this. If you get a number like 4/6 or a fraction, remember what we're doing. We're either making the fraction smaller by splitting it in half, or making it bigger by taking away the half pieces. So you have 2 options. There is a trick to do. you could either multiply it times 2 so that you get double the pieces. You're going to get double the shaded and double the total. So you're going to multiply 2 on the top to get the shaded amount and 2 on the bottom. See that? When I multiply times 2, I get 12 pieces, right? I've made 12 total. And when I multiply the top by 2, which I have to do both, I can't leave it, I'm going to get 8 pieces, okay? Because all I did was I took the amount and I did times 2 times 2. Well, does that really look like what we need? No, thirds is what we need. So then you have another option. You can put 4 6 here, and you could say, what could I multiply times 2 to get these numbers? If you've memorized your facts, you know that 3 times 2 is 6, and that 2 times 2 is 4. So it gives you the thirds that it's looking for. This is only a trick if it actually helps you. If it doesn't, you need to be drawing pictures. So this is just a little hint trick. If you enjoy it, if you don't be stressed by it. Okay, which figure is shaded to represent a fraction equivalent to 1/4? When we look at these, we need to use that boxing method that I showed you a little bit earlier on the last question. Remember, sometimes there's going to be tiny baby bites and a big bite. I don't have any fraction bars that are smaller than fourths. Smaller than fourths. I think I may mess that up. Bigger, basically. These are the small ones, these are the big ones. Sorry to confuse. So that tells me I'm probably looking for something like this, where it's, I'm blurry, where it is small pieces that would equal one big piece. Okay, so let's see if we can find that. We're going to label each one. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I see 8 pieces, which means I need to give the denominator 8. I see 2 pieces that are shaded, 2 8s. Then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 6. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 1 shaded, and then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, of all of these, and 1 is shaded. Which one is so obviously wrong? Well, let's draw our own Hershey bar. That's one of the issues, is that if they don't draw something for you, you need to draw it yourself. So I'm going to draw my Hershey bar. I'm going to put 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm going to shade one of them. Obviously, this one down here is like this tiny piece. Only part of it would have been shaded, not even the whole entire thing. So J is a very obvious wrong answer. Next one is this, 2 6. Let's go up here. If you notice, these pieces, there are more pieces than up here. It's not divided into the same amount. So sure, they did shade in 2 of them, but these are really large pieces compared to this piece. Cross H off. 1 6. Well, how can 1 6 equal 1/4 when 6ths are tinier? For instance, how can this be equivalent to this? You just kind of have to think through it. That's like saying 1/4 right here. See how these ones were 1/4 is equivalent to 1 6. It just doesn't work out. So you have to kind of think through. If it's the same numerator and different denominators, they're clearly not equivalent. So let's look at this one. I see 8 pieces to have been shaded, but this looks different than mine. I just drew it not as wide. So what would be smarter then is for me to come over here and check with their length and make sure. If I were to split this into 4 pieces and then shade 1/4, is 2 8 equal to 1/4? Yes, it is. So we're going to line that up, double check ourselves, Yep, it works. If you remember the trick I just taught you, you could do this. You could multiply 1/4, get smaller pieces, draw your line down the center. It'll make smaller bites, but the same amount. So you would do 1/4. We multiply 2 times 2, right? Because we have double the amount now, but we have to do it to top and bottom. And we get 2/8. That's why these two are equivalent. 2/8 is equal to 1/4. If you missed the magic word earlier, it was donut party. Victor shades 2/3 of a rectangle. How many sixths of the rectangle did he shade? Well, first of all, you should know that sixths look like this. It's a fraction, 6 total pieces. How can I, really think about it? If someone likes big bites, how can I get small bites out of that? I could divide it down the center, like I've been doing for all of them. Once I've divided it down the center, it's so easy because then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bingo! Just what I was looking for. I needed sixths. Now I count how many are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer is 4/6. If for some reason they don't give you a picture or you're a little bit confused by that and you like the method that I taught you where you can just double the amount of pieces, then multiply times your 2's to find out what's equal to it. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. By the way, and it gives you the answer. 2/3 is equal to 4/6. This only really works on your equivalent fractions, not on comparing fractions, not where we do less than or greater than. Please don't confuse them because it will mess you up. Okay, last one. You guys have worked so hard with me. Thank you for sticking with me. Okay, Lexi divided a sub sandwich into sixths. Again, you should be able to put 1/6 there. She ate 2/6 of the sandwich. Okay, so she's going to come along and she's going to eat this much of it. Which fraction is equivalent to 2/6? Well, remember, either your pieces are going to get bigger or even smaller. If you make them even smaller and you divide it like this, watch what's going to happen. Now you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you even have 12s on here? No. So you know that your pieces aren't getting any smaller. They're going to get bigger. So this should be your first clue, like, oh yeah, 2 were eaten. What if I divide the next 2? I combine them basically, and the next 2 I combine them. How many big pieces do I have now? 1, 2, 3. So now I have 3 pieces and she's eaten 1 of the 3. This would be like if she had not divided into 6 pieces originally and just thirds. And this would be like she takes a break, she eats 1 piece and then she comes back and eats another. So she eats 2 out of 6. This is where she eats 1 large piece all in one sitting. So your answer is 1/3. We can also prove it this way. We're not getting any smaller, so we're going to put the 2/6 on this side of the equation. And then we're going to say, what number can I multiply 2 times to get here? If you know your multiplication facts, 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 2 is 2. And that's how we get it. So 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. Boys and girls, thank you so much for watching my equivalent fractions video. I hope it helped you, and good luck on your homework.